Another newcomer to Medarot S who made her debut and appearance relatively recently in the story mode Arc 4, it is the new cat type MGY00 Gato Arbol, with a kit of Suction, Double Break, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Battle Dance, which buffs leg stats every time the user successfully dodges or grazes an incoming attack. Now, the first time I saw Gato Arbol, I thought it was a very cute design for sure, wasn't 100% certain of what her kit was until I got to see it in action, and then when I actually realized what the kit was, it hit me that she is going to be an absolute heavy bot punisher in every definition of the term. Break, of course, just before I go over the brand new attack, I'm going to go over her arms real quick. Break, of course, we've seen it before. It's a standard gravity-based move that deals bonus damage relative to the number of heavy parts the target has equipped. So, of course, that means if your target has 2 or more, that the attack is going to be much, much more painful than it might be only damaging a target that only has 1 or even no heavy parts. On top of that, Gravity Attribute also does get a success bonus upon a certain Metaphors threshold, so it means that you're also more likely to land a hit or land a critical hit, and seeing that Gato also has a relatively high success rate on both her arms, about almost 1400 for the right arm, almost 1300 for the left, she alone already has a pretty solid stat in guaranteeing that her hits are going to land, let alone guarantee crits. Now, her head, on the other hand, has a brand new skill called Suction, which changes the game entirely for heavy punishers. In this case, Suction pulls the target back to the center line if the attack connects. On top of that, the effectiveness of this attack is relative to the number of equipped heavy parts on the target. I actually have seen this firsthand because my particular main bot, Coppercross, has currently 2 heavy parts equipped. When he was nearby the command line, about ready to finish his cooldown, he was hit by this and was pulled all the way back to start, and he had to start his cooldown all the way over again. So this attack can be particularly dangerous if you time it correctly and you abuse it on someone who's particularly heavy with 2 or more heavy parts, much like arms. So on top of that, like I mentioned, that does make Gato Arbol an incredible heavy punish, as what she can do is very quickly and very easily cripple a heavy bot's legs. Say, for instance, God Emperor, Death Providence, Metal Eater, someone who has 3 heavy parts all at once on a single build. The moment those legs go down, you're done. It doesn't matter what else is going on, your mobility drops to below 0, and there is no hope of you finishing that fight alive. On top of that, even if you get to the line to land your attack, you also have to run all the way back to start before you can even consider your next move. And if you have no legs with triple heavy, you're more or less a sitting duck. Gato Arbol takes that and expounds on it, because with Suction, she can guarantee that a heavy opponent who's been crippled does not get to take their next turn by constantly and consistently gluing them to the center line anytime that looks like they might finish a cooldown phase. Now, this also works in reverse, on the other hand. If you decide that you are somehow faster than your target and you manage to fire off Suction first before they get to take their turn, it actually may likely pull them closer to the center line and accelerate their heat phase, meaning that they'll take their turn faster than someone else and potentially throw off any particular strategy. So proper timing with Suction is highly recommended and highly encouraged if you want to make good use of it. Aside from that, across the board, she is relatively solid in all major departments. Break, of course, doesn't need to be overly powerful, but of course an average attack of about 750 for the right arm, 804 for the left. Head armor is about 3,200, arms are about 3,000, legs are about 3,100 with a mobility of about 839. Now, her leg ability of Battle Dance actually does really tie into her leg stats. Notice how her evade stat is sitting at about 1320. That means by itself, she already is going to be designed primarily to dodge and graze attacks every chance she gets. And that also includes every chance that she does, her leg stats go up, meaning that she will be progressively faster, she'll be able to progressively deter and downgrade more damage, reduce more damage when taking incoming attacks, but she also cannot afford to not dodge in this case. So any attack that gives you no evade might be a particular downfall. Aside from all this, I would rate her about an 8 out of 10 as a pure set score, because even though she does have pierce damage potential, even if it is to an extent Metaphors or condition reliant, press, break, gravity moves really don't need to have a high power or pierce damage potential to really be useful. because they already have something that they're really, really good at. And in this case, it's the really high success and crit rate. On top of that, she also has a very high natural mobility. The high evade also assists with her leg ability on top of that, and her kit overall is designed, as I said, as the perfect heavy punish. So you can use her as a pure set very feasibly and not have to worry about anything getting redundant or standing in your way because of that said redundancy between her arms. As a mixed parts score, I would rate her equally at about an 8 out of 10 for the same reasons. If you do decide to use Gato Arbol for whatever reasons, maybe mixing her leg with something that does not allow her, that prevents her from evading would probably be encouraged, so that you can guarantee that even after you fire off or take a hit, you can still dodge or graze relatively easily and still make use of that bonus. Aside from that though, if you do choose to use her head or either her arms, it would be encouraged to maybe use a head and an arm together so that you can make the most of that heavy punish on female-only teams or even just a team in general, because of how much viability that gives you in stalling a heavy target and preventing them from even getting a chance to take their turns.